We are live here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel as the 1-11 Newark Pilots host the 7-6 Auburn Doubledays. Pilots coming in this one off a 6-5 loss at the hands of the Batavia Muck Dogs, and for the Auburn Doubledays, they come into this one at 7-6 after defeating the Geneva Red Wings 16-0 pretty soundly yesterday. Had 3 home runs, and that one did the Auburn Doubledays. I was calling that game over on the Geneva Red Wings YouTube channel. Well, here I am back again on Finger Lakes One Radio as it's Harrison Campy leading things off for the Auburn Doubledays. 1 ball and 1 strike to him as Campy steps in for the Auburn Doubledays. Yesterday went 3 for 4 with 3 runs. The 1-1 pitch taken for a strike counts at 1-2. Carson Gross playing second base, wearing number 5, waits on deck for the Doubledays. Counts at 1-2 now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes for Chris Lowe. That one in there for strike 3. It's a leadoff strikeout looking backwards K. Ring him up. Good pitch there from Chris Lowe. As that will now bring up the second baseman, number 5, Carson Gross, coming into this game, batting .310 for these Doubledays. And he was in the 10 spot yesterday. He went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored in the onslaught over the Geneva Red Wings. So Carson Gross steps in. First pitch drops out of the zone. Counts it 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Lowe. That one swung on and roped to the second baseman, and it pops right over his glove. It's a 1-out single for Carson Gross, and that was just outside the outstretched glove of the diving Briggs Loveland. So 1-out single. It's the Doubledays' first hit of the game, and that'll bring up the ever so dangerously hitting Tommy Roldan, the University of Virginia Wahoo Cavalier, steps in. I'm actually wearing a Virginia Cavaliers shirt up here in the press box today. Don't know if I really timed that one out quite well, but we do have Tristan Head on our team, who is a University of Virginia commit. As the first pitch swung on and missed by Roldan. Roldan yesterday went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI and 3 runs scored. So certainly was a power bat for these Auburn Doubledays. He's coming into the game tonight batting .357. Pickoff move there from Lowe as Carson Gross slides back in safely head first. Chris Lowe coming into this one with 3 games under his belt and 3 starts. He's 0-3 on the summer thus far in 17 innings pitched. He's given up 15 runs, 12 of them earned, with a 6.35 ERA as that one's fouled off. Lowe getting ahead in the count early, counts at 0-2. Again, last year, Chris Lowe had a 6-0 record with these very own Newark Pilots. The second-year returning player from Emerson College comes set. The 0-2 pitch from Lowe. That one misses Lowe. Counts at 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. It's CeeLo bump day, as they call it. So 1 ball, 2 strikes as Tommy Roldan will step back in. The 1-2 pitch, runner goes. The throw down from Dom Camera, not in time. It's a stolen base for Carson Gross. And just like that, the Auburn Doubledays have a runner in scoring position. That pitch missed outside, so the count's at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Carson Gross on second base as the 3-spot hitter. Tommy Roldan steps back in. The 2-2 pitch. Taken at the knees, strike 3. So Lowe's second strikeout of the inning. So a pair of backwards K for Chris Lowe, and that will now bring up the even more dangerous hitting Bobby Stang in yesterday's 16-0 victory over Geneva. Bobby Stang went 3 for 5 with 3 RBI and 2 runs scored. Stang also is the Doubledays team leader in RBI with 15 on the summer. First pitch from Lowe misses outside, counts at 1-0. As Stang steps back in. Stang plays his college ball at Georgia Southern University. The 1-0 pitch. That one swung on and hit over the leaping Flaherty's head as Gross is going to round and head towards the plate. That one's going to be well over his head into the backstop. Another RBI for Bobby Stang, and the Doubledays strike first. They lead 1-0. An RBI double, and that'll bring up A.J. Wenrich for Auburn. 1-0 your score. Doubledays picking up right where they left off, hot off the bat against the Geneva Red Wings, and they brought it into the game here tonight at Colburn. So A.J. Wenrich will step in, the right fielder. He's batting .133 on the summer. Before yesterday's game, he was batting .04, but in yesterday's game, Wenrich really turned his summer around. In yesterday's game, he went 3 for 5. Had more hits yesterday than he did coming into the game on the season. So Wenrich turning around also from Georgia Southern. So he steps in. First pitch missed, counts at 1-0. The other pitch swung on and missed, counts at 1-1 now. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs to A.J. Wenrich, who's playing right field tonight for the Doubledays. Paulie Goodness back in the lineup out in center field for the Pilots. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, counts at 1-2, and rounding out the rest of the outfield will be Southeast Missouri State's Michael Mugen in left and Tyler Walters out in right field for the Pilots. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Low comes set. Staying with a little bit of a lead. That one misses low and away. Good stop across his body for Dom Camera as he reached that catcher's mitt out, that big paw, and stopped it. Counts now even up at 2. So 2 is across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Top of the first inning, and the Doubledays have already scored 1 run. Bobby Stang sits on second base. Has a little bit of a lead over there. The 2-2 pitch. In there, strike 3. So Chris Lowe strikes out the side. But the Doubledays pick up 1 run in the top of the first inning. 1-0 your score. Heading to the bottom half. Due up will be Michael Mugen leading things off. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio on the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. It'll be Michael Mugen leading things off here for the Newark Pilots to start off this inning. That one swung and fouled off. As the count now is at 0-1 to Michael Mugen. As he steps back in. That one misses for a ball. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Mugen. As 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs to Mugen now. The 2-1 pitch. That one swung on and bounced up, and that one gets through for a single. As that'll now bring up Dom Camera for these Pilots. As Camera will step in now. First pitch. That one swung on and popped up into right field underneath it and makes the play. So 2 outs now. As it'll bring up Jack Archimone now for the Pilots. After 2 quick outs. Jack Archimone from the University of Richmond. As he'll step in. That one misses. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. And 1 out to Jack Archimone, who's batting .347 coming into this game here tonight for the Pilots. Has found himself solidified in the top half of that Pilots lineup as the second pitch of the AB misses for a ball. Counts at 2-0. As it's Huxley Holcomb getting the start for Auburn. That one taken for a strike at the knees. Counts at 2-1 now. And for Holcomb, he has 2 appearances. 1 game he started, 8 innings on the summer, and has given up 2 runs, 2 of them earned, and a 2.25 ERA. So far has been quite successful. Runner goes as Michael Mugen slides in safely. It's a stolen base for him. Good steal there from Mugen after he had the leadoff single for the Pilots. That one in there for a strike. Counts at 3-2. All full now. Jack Archimone steps back in with the count full. That one misses, and he'll walk. So the Pilots have 2 base runners now. And that'll bring up Mitchell Kelly. So Mitchell Kelly will come up from SUNY Cortland by way of Webster, New York. So Mitchell Kelly steps in now for the Pilots with an opportunity to do something here after the walk to Jack Archimone. Pilots have runners on first and second now. The pitch taken for a strike. Counts at 0-1 to Mitchell Kelly, who's batting .304 for the Pilots. Certainly has turned that batting average up. As for Kelly, he's 4th on the team in batting average at .304. As Kelly steps back in, Mugen heads towards third, and it's a double steal. Pilots steal both third and second. As Archimone takes second base, Michael Mugen stole third. Double steal for the Pilots, and with 1 out, the Pilots have runners on second and third. And a base hit here could give the Pilots their first lead of the ball game. As Mitchell Kelly steps back in, 0-2 the count. Heads up base running there by the Pilots. The 0-2 pitch from Holcomb. Taken strike 3 for the second out of the inning. Backwards K for Kelly, as that'll bring up Michael Flaherty. Flaherty from Grinnell College by way of London, England, as he comes up to the plate. Pilots leader in batting average coming into the game tonight. He's batting .360 thus far in the summer with a pair of doubles, 2 RBI, and 9 hits. He scored 3 runs on the summer. Flaherty steps in. The first pitch bounced in the dirt. Count is at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes to Michael Flaherty. Flaherty in the last game went 1 for 2 against the Batavia Muck Dogs. That one swung on and hit into center field. Underneath it, makes the play. So the Pilots strand 2 base runners, and the Doubledays escape with a 1-0 lead heading to the top of the second. It's Auburn 1, Newark 0. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes 1 Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes 1 Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, will be Christian Bauman leading things off for the Doubledays here in the top of the second inning. Doubledays off to an early 1-0 lead after that first inning. Pilots stranded 2 base runners on second and third as Bauman will step up to the plate. The first pitch swung on and missed. Big cut and a big miss there for Bauman. Count is at 1-0 to him. Bauman had a 2-run home run in yesterday's 16-0 victory over Geneva. Another big swing and another big miss. Counts at 0-2. Chris Lowe getting ahead in the count now. As there were 3 home runs in that game yesterday. One by Hazel Martinez, one by Malillo, and one by Bauman. And another strikeout for Chris Lowe, his 4th of the ball game already. Strikeout swinging for Bauman, and that'll bring up the left fielder number 12, Christian Malillo. And as I just mentioned, Malillo in yesterday's game went yard as well. Had a 3-run home run for the Doubledays later on in that game to really put the nail in the coffin over the Geneva Red Wings. That one is swung on and fouled off. Count is at 0-1. Chris Lowe, 4 batters recorded out, and all 4 of those outs have been strikeouts. 0-1, misses Lowe. Counts at 1-1 now. And Lowe did pitch in the last matchup between these two teams, that 7-2 victory over the Auburn Doubledays. He went 7 innings, gave up 8 hits, and all 7 runs. Only 4 of them earned, though, and had 1 strikeout. So Lowe already has 4 times the amount of strikeouts he did last game. That one hit to Flaherty, who throws over to Kelly at first for the out. A 6-3 ground out for Christian Malillo, and that's the second out of the inning. And that'll now bring up Benji Rise, the catcher, number 22. As Benji Rise steps in, the catcher. First pitch, taken for a strike, count at 0-1. Good to see Chris Lowe settling in for these Pilots. So far, Lowe on the summer has 9 strikeouts coming into the game tonight, and he already has 4. So he's almost near half the amount of strikeouts just in this game for the season, his season total. Would be interesting to see how many more he can get as the night goes on. That one fouled off, counts at 0-2. And Lowe, so far, a 17-7 strike-to-ball ratio. Pretty good ratio if you ask me. So the 0-2 pitch from Chris Lowe. That one swung on and hit to the third baseman, Tim Wagner, who throws on to first. And a good scoop by Mitchell Kelly for the out. Heading to the bottom of the second, 1-0 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes 1 Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Justin DiMartino leading things off for the Pilots in the bottom of the second. First pitch from Huxley Holcomb misses for a ball. Count is at 1-0 to him as he steps back in. Batting .210 coming into the game tonight for the Pilots as DiMartino steps in. That one misses as well. Two quick balls from Huxley Holcomb. Counts at 2-0 now to Mr. Justin DiMartino, and in the 7-6 victory back on June 11th, Justin DiMartino went 1 for 5 as that one is hit into right field. That one down the line as that one is called foul, and first base coach Ryan Seals can't believe that one as that one appeared to drop right in the corner. Not fair territory, but the baseline umpire must have a better view than me. So that one's going to be called foul, and the count's at 2-1 now. So 2 balls and 1 strike. That one appeared to drop in fair territory. Fortunately, no replay review here in the PGCBL Summer League, so the count's at 2-1, and Justin DiMartino steps back into the box to face Huxley Holcomb. The 2-1 pitch. That one swung on and hit out into left field. And diving left fielder, that one gets underneath his glove. Justin DiMartino's going to round first and head into second. It's a leadoff double for Justin DiMartino.
The third baseman wearing his brand new uniform, number 27, Tim Wagner.
And that'll bring up Tim Wagner. And as you just heard our lovely PA announcer Jeffrey Hayes say, Tim Wagner wearing the new number 27 tonight for the Newark Pilots. So thank you for that information, Jeff. We appreciate everything you do for us here in the press box at Colburn Park. Graduate of Purdue University with a master's degree. As that one misses low all the way to the backstop, and into third base goes Justin DiMartino. So DiMartino with the leadoff double and then trots into third base on the wild pitch. And the tying run sits 90 feet away now for the Pilots. So a golden opportunity here, if you will. And it's Tim Wagner who steps back in. Awaiting on deck is Tyler Walters for these Pilots. The 1-0. That one swung on and hit. And that one's going to get in between the gap. An RBI single for Tim Wagner. And we're tied at 1 here at Colburn Park.
Tim is on first base, bringing up from Sewanee, Georgia, the right fielder, number 21, Tyler Walters.
As this will now bring up Tyler Walters for the Pilots. As Tyler Walters steps in. And the Pilots tied this thing up at 1. Pickoff attempt there will keep Wagner close at first. As we're knotted up at 1, Walters steps back in. Holcomb comes set. The first pitch of the AB to Walters. That one, big cut and a big miss. Counts it 0-1 to Walters, who comes into this game for the Pilots batting .250. Still looking for his first RBI in the summer, but Walters does have a triple to his credit. 4 for 16 on the summer thus far in 5 games for the Pilots. Another pickoff attempt that will keep Wagner close at first base for Tim Wagner. That was his 3rd RBI in the summer. Wagner batting .222. And that double for Justin DiMartino was his team-leading 3rd double of the summer. The 1-0-1 pitch taken for a strike counts at 0-2 to Walters. And waiting on deck for the Pilots is Briggs Loveland from Emerson College. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. It's a 3-pitch strikeout for Tyler Walters, and that'll bring up Briggs Loveland. So Briggs Loveland will come to the plate now for the Pilots. From Burleson, Texas. From Emerson College steps in Briggs Loveland, batting on the left side of the batter's box. The lefty-on-lefty matchup, first pitch, big swing. Nothing doing for Briggs Loveland. Counts at 0-1. So no balls, 1 strike, and 1 out. Briggs Loveland steps back in. Paulie Goodness The local kid from Palmyra, New York, and Finger Lakes Community College waits on deck. The 0-1 pitch taken for a strike. So far for Huxley Holcomb, 5 pitches in the inning and 5 strikes. As he sits ahead in the count, 0-2 now. So no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch, that one swung on and missed. Excuse me, in the last 2 batters. So back-to-back 3-pitch strikeouts, and that'll bring up Paulie Goodness now for these Newark Pilots. As Paulie Goodness will step up to the plate now to face Huxley Holcomb. Again, Tim Wagner sitting over there on first base after the RBI single for him scored Justin DiMartino to tie this game at 1 as Briggs Loveland lines that one up the middle, and it's going to be a 2-out single. Excuse me, Paulie Goodness lines that one up the center. So Paulie Goodness with a single there. And we'll take things back to the top of the order, and that'll bring up Michael Mugen now for these Pilots. Michael Mugen plays his college ball at Southeast Missouri State. He'll step in. 1 for 1 on the night as he singled in his first AB. Was stranded at third base back in the first inning. So he has an opportunity here with runners on first and second to take a lead here for the Pilots. First pitch, taken over the heart of the plate for a strike. Counts at 0-1. That one appeared to be the changeup from Holcomb. Mugen came into the game tonight batting 125 for the Pilots. As he is 2 for 16. 3 for 17 on the summer now, but came in batting 2 for 16 as the 0-1 pitch misses for a ball. Counts at 1-1, so all evened up now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. In the bottom of the second, Pilots already with a run scored this inning to tie this one at 1. And the 1-1 pitch to Mugen, that one swung on and fouled. Out of play. Counts now 1-2 to Michael Mugen. And waiting on deck is Dom Camera. If Mugen were to find his way on base, a very dangerous bat awaiting for the Pilots. And Dom Camera, and the Doubledays know him very well. As that one swung on and fouled off, counts at 1-2 still, so we'll do it again. This is the third game in which Dom Camera has appeared against the Red Wings. The Doubledays, excuse me. He is 6 for 9 on the summer against them. 6 for 10 now. Came into the game 6 for 9. The 1-2 pitch from Holcomb. That one's fouled off out of play. So we'll do the 1-2 for the third time. The 1-2, that one hit up the middle, and that one's going to get down, and they're going to hold Tim Wagner at third as that throw was right on the money. And that'll bring up Dom Camera. So the base is loaded now for the Pilots. One of the Pilots' hottest hitters right now in Dom Camera. Camera coming into the game tonight, batting .333. As Dom Camera steps in. Base is loaded. Golden opportunity here for the Pilots to crack into this lead. Crack a lead here as the game's tied at 1. That one misses inside. Counts at 1-0. And nowhere to put Camera as the bases are loaded. As Tim Wagner sits on third base, that one fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. As that one swung on and hit out into left field. That one's going to get down. 1 run scores. And another run scores, and the Pilots take a 2-run lead. 3-1 your score. Dom Camera. As that'll bring up Jack Archimo now. And Dom Camera continues his Great summer against the Auburn Doubledays. He has been all over the Doubledays this summer, and he is now 7 for 11 on the summer against the Doubledays. Yes, 7 for 11. Dom Camera, man. Delivering when it counts. The score is now 3-1, and Jack Archimone steps in for the Pilots. Man, Dom Camera. That one misses, and it's going to hit the backstop, and Michael Mugen's going to slide in safely. Dom Camera takes second base, and now 4-1 your score. The Pilots out to an early lead. So the Pilots taking a lead here. And they already have 4 runs this half inning with 2 outs. Some 2-out magic for the Pilots. That one swung on and hit into left field. Left fielder trailing and makes the play to finally end the inning, but not before the Newark Pilots put up 4 runs in the bottom half of the second. Dom Kemmer with a 2 RBI double and a score on the pass ball for Auburn, and a Tim Wagner RBI single. 4-1 your score. The Newark Pilots getting hot at the right time, heading to the top of the third. 4-1 your score. We'll see if the Pilots can hold it. Chris Lowe coming out for another inning of work. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Pilots scoring 4 runs in the bottom half of the second. They have an early lead here. 4-1 your score here at Historic Colburn Park. As Chris Lowe out for another inning of work. First pitch, big cut and a big miss as the off-speed pitch had the batter, Jacob Houts, fooled as he steps in. He is tonight's 9-hole hitter for the Doubledays. 2 straight strikes from him as the count is at 0-2. That one fouled off, so we'll do the 0-2 again. So no balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. That one swung on and hit out into the left field side, fielded by Michael Flaherty near the grass and thrown on the first. A 6-3 ground out for Jacob Holtz. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 23, Michael Hooley, batting .260 so far tonight. As Hooley will step in, come into the game for the Auburn Doubledays. In the 16-0 victory yesterday for Hooley, he went 1 for 5 with a run scored as he steps back in. That one misses. Counts at 1-0 from Chris Lowe to Michael Hooley, batting .260. That one fouled off. Count evened up at 1 now. as Hooley playing first base tonight. That last batter was actually Rees for... No, that was Holtz. He's playing first base. Third base is Hooley. A little bit of an error on the live stats as that one misses. The count's at 3-1 now. As that one misses, it is a 1-out walk for Hooley. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Harrison Campy. So Campy comes up 0-for-1 with a strikeout looking back in the first inning. Coming into the game batting at 300 for the Doubledays. So he'll step in with 1 out here in the top of the third. 4-1 Pilots lead. That one swung on and hit into center field as that one gets all the way to the wall. Walters will throw it in. They're going to send Hooley home. The throw hits the cutoff man. It's going to be a 1-out RBI triple for Harrison Campy, and the score is now 4-2. As that will now bring up the second baseman, number 5, Carson Gross, who was 1-for-1 here tonight with a single and came around to score in the first. He came into the game batting .310 for the Doubledays, and right up there as one of the top hitters. He was 5th on the team coming into the game in batting average, tied for 5th with Garrett Prosper. As Carson Gross steps in, the pitch, that one swung on and hit. Underneath it is Flaherty in the infield, a P6 pop-up to Michael Flaherty at short, and that'll bring up Tommy Roldan from the University of Virginia with 2 outs now for the Auburn Doubledays. After the P6 from Carson Gross. So Chris Lowe looking to get out of trouble here with a 2-run lead. Roldan struck out looking in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. The pitch. And a little appeal down to the field umpire. They're going to say he didn't go around for Tommy Roldan. Counts at 1-0. The 1-0 big cut. Nothing doing for Tommy Roldan. Counts now evened up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Harrison Campy sits 90 feet away on third base. So the tying run at the plate. Lowe looking to get out of the inning. The pitch. Swung on and hit into deep center field. Paulie Goodness at the track at the wall. Makes the catch at the wall for the 3rd out of the inning. Chris Lowe points out to his outfielder, and he gets out of the jam. Heading to the bottom of the 3rd, 4-2. Pilots lead over the Doubledays. We'll be back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. live here at Historic Colburn Park. Newark Pilots coming up to bat. It's Mitchell Kelly leading things off from SUNY Cortland. And right up Route 104 in the heart of the Finger Lakes here in upstate New York, as it's Mitchell Kelly coming up to the plate. The first pitch from Huxley Holcomb taken for a strike, counts at 0-1. And the Pilots put up 4 runs in that last inning. Correction to the stats, it was Paulie Goodness with the RBI single there for the Pilots, not Tim Wagner. That one swung on and fouled off down the first baseline, counts at 0-2. And a 2 RBI single from Dom Camera. And then Michael Mugen scored on a wild pitch. That one swung on and missed, strike 3. So a strikeout for Kelly. And that'll now bring up Michael Flaherty for the Newark Pilots from London, England. So Michael Flaherty will step in, the Pilots' leader in batting average coming into the game tonight at .360. That was Kelly's second strikeout of the game. As the count is at 1-0 now, that pitch missed. Flaherty flew out to center field in his first at-bat. He's at shortstop tonight for the Pilots. The 1-0 pitch fouled off his leg as the count's now at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Flaherty. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. In the bottom of the third inning, as Michael Flaherty steps back in, the 1-1 pitch, that one hit over to the third baseman who fields and throws over to first. That one's going to get away as Flaherty is going to reach on an E5 with 1 out. And that'll bring up Justin DiMartino. So Justin DiMartino will step up for the Newark Pilots now with a runner on first base after the E5. And waiting on deck is Tim Wagner. So Justin DiMartino will step up to the plate from Farmingdale State University as he steps in. Michael Flaherty advances to second as that one actually got out of play. So a little bit of clarification there. That one must have got out of play at Colburn. So Flaherty advances to second on the E5. That one misses low. 2 straight balls from Huxley Holcomb, and the count is at 2-0 now. As Justin DiMartino steps back in, he's 1 for 1 with a double. Came around to score in the second inning as that one is popped up down the first base line. And that one just kicks foul. So the count's at 2-1 now to Justin DiMartino, who after his last double now leads the Pilots team in doubles and extra base hits with 3. As DiMartino steps back in. Holcomb comes set, looking at the runner. The 2-1 pitch, that one swung on and missed. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the third inning. 4-2 your score. Pilots lead the Doubledays. Holcomb comes set, the 2-2 pitch. That one swung on and hit on a line to the second baseman who flips over to second. So a line out to the second baseman who flips it over to the shortstop, who's Harrison Campy. That one from Carson Gross to Harrison Campy. A 4-6 double play, and heading to the top of the fourth, 4-2 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, it's Bobby Stang leading things off here for the Auburn Doubledays in the top of the fourth. First pitch swinging from Stang and first pitch missing. Counts at 0-1. Chris Lowe has looked very well. Very good for the Pilots here tonight. So far in 3 innings of work, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts, and a 27-10 strike-to-ball ratio. That one swung on and hit out into right field. Tyler Walters underneath it and makes the play out there. An F9 for Bobby Stang. And there's one away quickly here in the top of the fourth inning. And that'll bring up the right fielder number 3, A.J. Wenrich, who struck out looking back in the first inning to end the first inning for the Auburn Doubledays. So Wenrich will step in from Georgia Southern University, and he's looking to change his fortune. The delivery from Lowe, that one swung on and missed. Good movement on the pitch as the count's at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Wenrich as he steps back in. 9 strikeouts, actually 10 strikeouts after the first strikeout in the first inning. So 10 strikeouts on the summer for him thus far in 30 at-bats. The 1-1 pitch misses for a ball, counts at 2-1. So after a first pitch strike, 2 straight balls from Lowe with 1 out here in the top of the fourth. 4-2 your score. Pilots 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors. As that one is swung on and hit right over the leaping Wagner. So it's a 1-out single for A.J. Wenrich. And that'll now bring up the center fielder number 28, Christian Bauman. Struck out swinging to lead off the second inning for the Doubledays. Bauman coming into this game batting .272 for the Doubledays. Right about the middle of the pack for the team in terms of batting average, and for being middle of the pack, .272 is pretty good for Bauman. That one fouled off, counts at 0-1. A.J. Wenrich over there on first base for the Doubledays. The team leader in batting average. Mason not playing here tonight. James Mason. That one fouled off as well. Counts at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. As Christian Bauman, the center fielder, steps back in. Swung on and missed. The runner goes. As that one kicks out into the outfield on the throw. Good throw from Camera. Just hits off the glove. So that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Christian Melillo. As Melillo will step in from the left side of the batter's box. with 2 outs. Did homer yesterday. Both him and Ballman and Hazel Martinez. So 3 guys for the Doubledays homered yesterday against the Red Wings at McDonough Park. First pitch taken for a strike. Counts at 0-1 to Christian Malillo after the strikeout from Ballman. And again, A.J. Wenrich did steal second base on the strikeout. That one swung on and missed as well. So Chris Lowe dealing here. Has 5 strikeouts already on the night in 3.2 innings of work, looking for his 6th as Lowe comes set. Looks at the runner. The 0-2 pitch. Misses outside. Good stop from camera. Counts at 1-2 now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. 4-2 Pilots lead over Auburn. And a win here would give the Pilots the series lead. That one swung on and fouled off. And in foul territory, Tim Wagner makes the play. That one just hung up right before kicking towards that out-of-bounds barrier line near the dugout. So that's the 3rd out made by Tim Wagner in foul territory, heading to the bottom of the 4th. 4-2 your score here at Colburn Park. The Pilots coming up to bat. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Apologize for the technical difficulties here as we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tim Wagner fouls off in foul territory to start the inning for the Pilots, and that brings up Tyler Walters with 1 gone. First 2 pitches of the at-bat missed for balls. Counts at 2-0 with 1 gone already here in the bottom of the 4th. 4-2 Pilots lead as we're back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Tyler Walters steps back in, 0-for-1, struck out swinging in his first at-bat. The pitch from Holcomb misses. Counts at 3-0 now. So 3 balls, no strikes, and 1 out to Tyler Walters. And awaiting on deck is Briggs Loveland. So 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out. The pitch taken for a strike, counts at 3-1 now. So 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As Tyler Walters awaits the pitch. That one taken at the knees, counts now full at 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The pitch. That one misses low, so it's a 1-out walk for Walters. He'll head to first base, and that'll bring up Briggs Loveland. So Briggs Loveland coming up to the plate now from Emerson College. And waiting on deck is Paulie Goodness for the Newark Pilots. As Briggs Loveland steps in. Couple of Emerson guys on this team. The starting pitcher, Chris Lowe, from Emerson as well. First pitch swinging from Loveland. That one fouled off. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Loveland struck out swinging in his first plate appearance back in the second inning. Came into the game batting 142 for the Pilots as he steps back into the batter's box. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch misses just inside, counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. One's across the top of the scoreboard here at Colburn. As Briggs Loveland steps back into the batter's box, and on first base is Tyler Walters. 1-1, taken at the knees, counts at 1-2 now. Loveland not happy with the call. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Briggs Loveland steps in. The lefty on lefty matchup here. Holcomb comes set. The pitch. That one swung on and bounced. Dribbled to Campy at short, who fields and makes a great play. But it's a 6-4 ground out for Briggs Loveland. And that'll bring up Paulie Goodness with 2 outs here. And on the play, Tyler Walters was able to advance to second as it was a well-hit bouncy ball that Harrison Campy got a good read on. So Paulie Goodness will now step in for the Pilots, and in his last AB, had a single with an RBI. Came around to score. So Goodness steps back in. Runner goes. Walters heading towards third. He'll slide in safely. Tyler Walters with blazing speed over there steals third base. And just like that, Walters sits 90 feet away. And we'll see if, a lot like the second inning, Paulie Goodness can get an RBI here. Goodness steps back in. 0-1 the count. The 0-1 pitch. Bounce. That one's going to get to the backstop, and here comes Walters with that blazing speed. He scores, and the Pilots score another run. Their 5th of the game. They take a 5-2 lead over the Auburn Doubledays here in the bottom of the 4th inning. On the wild pitch. So that'll move the count to 1-1. And everything clicking on all cylinders for the Pilots thus far here tonight. Been waiting for that game where everything clicks, and now getting the run support the pitching is. Completely changes the environment here as the Pilots, their dugout, grinning from ear to ear. That one fouled off by Goodness. The count is at 1-2. As we've known for a while, it's just a matter of time with this Pilots team. The 1-2 pitch. That one hit into center field. Underneath it is Christian Bauman for the final out of the inning, but Walters scores on the wild pitch. The Pilots take a 5-2 victory heading to the top of the 5th. They have a 3-run lead over the Auburn Doubledays. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, it's Benji Rees stepping into the batter's box now. As that one hit down the third baseline foul, counts at 0-1. As he steps back into the batter's box, Rees from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, plays his college ball at Lemoyne College there in Syracuse. As the 0-1 pitch misses just high above the letters, counts at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. We're in the top of the first inning. The pitch taken for a strike, counts at 1-2. And so far, stat line for Chris Lowe in 4 innings of work, he has 4 hits, 2 runs, a strikeout, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. As the 1-2 pitch misses low, counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. As Benji Rees steps back in. The delivery from Chris Lowe. That one swung on and hit into right field. That one gets down for a leadoff single for Benji Rees. His first hit of the game. As that'll bring up the first baseman, number 25, Jacob Holtz from Mansfield University. And there is some action down there in the Doubledays bullpen. That appears to be Colin Lehner warming up down there. Pickoff attempt there from Lowe. We'll just have keep Reese honest over there first. Pilots took a 5-2 lead, in the bottom of the 4th on the pass ball. Tyler Walters scored. Another throw over keeps the runner close. As Holtz steps back in, batting 133 coming into the game tonight. That one swung on and fouled off down the third base line, just past the Doubledays head coach, Ben Julian. Counts at 0-1. For Holtz, he grounded out 6-3 back in the 3rd inning, courtesy of Michael Flaherty and Mitchell Kelly for the Pilots. Kelly has been really good defensively, really solid for the Pilots at first base. Able to stretch and make those plays over there. Scoop them out of the dirt at first as the 0-1 pitch taken for a strike. Looked like a changeup there from Lowe, and the count is at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. Benji Rees on first base for the Doubledays. We'll see if they send him. As that one misses outside, throw over from camera. No real intent behind the throw, just to keep the runner close over there at first. And Rees counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and no outs. We're in the top of the 5th inning. 5-2 your score, and 5-2 Pilots lead. Looking for another victory against these Auburn Doubledays as that one misses. Counts at 2-2 now. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. In the top of the 5th inning. Sun starting to set in left center field. As that one hit back up the middle, Michael Flaherty fields it, flips over to Loveland at second, and on to Kelly at first. A 6-4-3 double play for the Pilots, and there are 2 outs. There are only 2 outs in the inning thus far. As Chris Lowe is heading off the field, that'll now bring up Michael Hooley, as there was some miscommunication between the rest of the Pilots team and Chris Lowe. Nonetheless, 2 outs. Great play from Loveland and Michael Flaherty for the 6-4-3 double play. So 2 outs. First pitch misses low. Counts at 1-0. Hooley walked and came around to score back in the third inning for the Doubledays. Was the only run in that inning for them as he steps back in. The 1-0 pitch from Lowe misses high. Counts at 2-0 now. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs so far for Chris Lowe. Just about 60 pitches. Imagine we could see him probably go into about the 7th, knock on wood. That one swung on and hit on a line to Wagner at third, who takes his time and throws over to Mitchell Kelly at first. 5-3 ground out. And a double play and a 5-3 ground out. And the Pilots hold the Doubleday scoreless in the top of the 5th. We'll be at the top of the order with Michael Mugen. And when we come back, 5-2 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning, the Newark Pilots, the Newark Pilots lead the Auburn Doubledays 5-2. Everything's been clicking on all cylinders here for the Pilots thus far tonight, and we're heading to the top of the order. It is Michael Mugen leading things off for the Pilots here, and a pitching change. It'll be Colin Lehner coming on to pitch now for the Auburn Doubledays. And so far for Mugen, 2 for 2 on the night with a pair of singles and an RBI and a run scored. As he steps in, he's been a vital part of the Pilots' success here tonight. That one swung on and hit at the third baseman, and Michael Mugen is 3 for 3 with 3 singles on the night. Have yourself a day, Michael Mugen. And that'll bring up Dom Camera. Dom Camera in his last at-bat had a 2 RBI single and gave the Pilots, at that point, a 3-1 victory. So Dom Camera, 3-1 lead as Dom Camera steps in now. Awaits the pitch from Lehner. First pitch taken for a strike. Count is at 0-1. As throw over, we'll just keep Mugen close over there at second. Mugen does have blazing speed over there for the Pilots. Camera came into the game batting .333. As that one misses, counts now even up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And no outs to Dom Camera. As it's Cooper Polkovich warming up for the Doubledays in the pen now. That one misses, counts at that one in for a strike, excuse me. Count is at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and no outs. Down camera steps back in with a runner on first base and no outs. Mugen over there on first. The 1-2 pitch from Lehner misses away. Good stop by the catcher, Rees. Counts is at 2-1 now. Excuse me, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Dom camera up at the plate from Hofstra University, and he is 7 for 11 on the summer against the Auburn Doubledays. The 2-2 misses. Counts now full at 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. And behind him is Jack Archimone awaiting on deck for these Newark Pilots. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. The 3-2 pitch in there for strike 3. As that one fooled camera, did the changeup for the first out of the inning. And that'll now bring up Jack Archimone, the University of Richmond Spider commit. As Jack Archimone will step in from the left side of the batter's box to face Colin Lehner. First pitch, misses outside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Michael Mugen on first base for the Pilots. 5-2 your score. Pilots with 7 hits already thus far in this game. As Archimone steps in, the 1-0 pitch misses low in the dirt. Counts at 2-0 now. 2 balls, no strikes. Archimone in the 7-6 victory on June 11th went 1 for 4 against the Doubledays with an RBI and a run scored. And he did not play in the last game. As the runner goes, Michael Mugen steals second, his second stolen base of the game. As he slides in safely. The throw was errant as well as it went into the outfield. So the Pilots have a runner in scoring position now, and awaiting on deck is the dangerous hitting Mitchell Kelly. As there's some action down there in the Pilots bullpen that appears to be Cameron Kingsley. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 1 out. Bottom of the 5th inning, 5-2 Pilots lead. As Jack Archimone will step back in. 3-1 the count to him. 3 balls, 1 strike, the pitch. That one swung on and fouled on a line towards the Pilots dugout. The count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Jack Archimone with a well-placed ball here would score Mugen. Honestly, anything in the outfield with the speed that Mugen has likely would score him. The 3-2, that one swung on and hit a little dribbler to the first baseman who fields it and steps on to first for the out. As that'll now bring up Mitchell Kelly with 2 outs. Michael Mugen sits 90 feet away on third base. So an opportunity for the Pilots here to tack on to their 3-run lead. Mitchell Kelly will step in with a pair of strikeouts on the night thus far. As Kelly steps in, scored that last one for Archimone, 3 unassisted. As the first pitch taken for a strike, count at 0-1. As that was Jacob Holtz over there at first base. That one swung on a line underneath the third baseman's glove. It's an RBI single for Mitchell Kelly, and the Newark Pilots take a 6-2 lead. And that'll bring up Michael Flaherty, the team leader in batting average. Everything clicking for the Pilots here tonight. And it's an RBI single courtesy of Mitchell Kelly. And it's Big Michael Flaherty, from across the pond in London, England, stepping up to the plate. First pitch, taken for a strike. Counts at 0-1. Pickoff attempt will keep Kelly close at over there. Kelly not the biggest threat to steal, but for his size, certainly can move. And waiting on deck is Justin DiMartino. That one swung on and hit on a line to Harrison Campy, who flips it over to Carson Gross at second for the out. Score that one a 4-6 ground out, 6-4 ground out. But the Pilots put up one more run. They're sixth of the game. They lead the Auburn Doubledays 6-2. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, top of the sixth inning, 6-2 Pilots lead. Had another run scored in the bottom of the fifth inning, courtesy of an RBI single from Mitchell Kelly, the local kid from Webster, New York, and SUNY Cortland had the RBI single. That'll bring up Harrison Campy for the Doubledays here, and they trail by 4 runs. Something else to note on the season, the Pilots are 1-11, and that one victory coming right against these Auburn Doubledays. And a win here would give them a 2-1 series lead on the summer. As that one fouled off. Counts at 0-2 now. So no balls, 2 strikes, and no outs to Harrison Campy, who's the leadoff man in the lineup, and he's leading off the top of the 6th inning for the Doubledays. He is 1 for 2 on the night thus far with a strikeout in the first and a triple with a pair of RBI. As that one fouled off as well, counts at 0-2 still. So no balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. Campy steps back in from Wofford. That one swung on and hit to Briggs Loveland, who fields it and flips to Kelly at first. 4-3 ground out for Harrison Campy to lead off the top of the 6th inning. And that'll bring up the second baseman, number 5, Carson Gross. As Carson Gross is 1 for 2 on the night thus far. Singled and scored in the first and popped up to Michael Flaherty at short in the 3rd inning. So Carson Gross will step in. Came into the night batting .310 for Auburn. As he'll step in now. And awaiting on deck will be the dangerous hitting Tommy Roldan. The delivery from Chris Lowe. That one misses low and inside. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Top of the 6th. 6-2. Pilots lead. Pilots 6 runs on 8 hits, no errors. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on and hit on a line. That one's going to get in between the gap between 3rd and short. It's a 1-out single for Carson Gross, his 2nd single of the ball game. As that'll now bring up the designated hitter from the University of Virginia, Tommy Roldan, number 20 for the Doubledays. As he will step in. And for Roldan, 4th on the team in batting average coming into the game tonight. And 4th on the team in RBI with 6 RBI. As he steps in, over 2 on the night thus far. Throw over will keep Gross close at first base as he dives back in safely. Chris Lowe out for another inning of work so far for him in 5.1 innings of work, 6 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. About 80 pitches as Dom Camera fakes the throw down there. First pitch of the AB to Tommy Roldan, misses outside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. 6-2 Pilots lead, and for the Doubledays thus far, 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 error. And Cam Kingsley still warming up down there for the Pilots in the pen. The pitch, swung on and missed. Counts now even up at 1. 1's across the top of the scoreboard. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. As Carson Gross, the runner on first base, gets a little bit of a lead there. Pickoff attempt from Lowe will keep him close. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Tommy Roldan steps back in, the left-handed batter. The 1-1 pitch from Lowe. Runner goes. Gross heads down. The throw from Camera. And they're going to say the runner is safe. Michael Flaherty jumping up and down to contest. Head coach Daniel Steve is going to come out of the dugout, and he's going to chat with the base umpire. And from here, the throw was well in time. Camera with an absolute cannon from behind the plate. The throw was well in time, unless you're going to say that the tag wasn't in time. Daniel Steve is going to contest with the umpire. The umpire's pointing and around the chest area of Daniel Steve. As Steve will walk away, the call is not going to get changed. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. It will be a stolen base for Carson Gross, and unfortunate break for the Pilots, is that one for sure appeared to be caught stealing 2-6, but Gross moves into scoring position. The pitch was in for a strike, so the count's at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out to Tommy Roldan as he'll step back in. Waiting on deck is the dangerous hitting Bobby Stang, the team leader in RBI, and he already has 1 here tonight. The 1-2 delivery from Lowe, bounced and stopped by Camera. Runner goes, throw down from Camera, not in time. So another stolen base from Carson Gross as he moves and sits just 90 feet away from home plate. So 2-2 the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Roldan at the plate, the 2-2 pitch. That one swung on and fanned up the middle. That will score a run. Flaherty fields it and flips over to first. And they're going to say he's safe at first. Once again, the throw appeared to be in time, but it'll be an RBI single for Tommy Roldan. And that'll bring up Bobby Stang. So 6-3 your score now, as head coach Daniel Steve is going to come out and chat with his starter, Chris Lowe. Kingsley still throwing down there and warming up. Looks like they're going to keep Lowe in for the time being. The entire infield is going to come in conference. As the home plate umpire going to come in and break up the conference here. Lights starting to flip on here at Colburn Park. A little bit later than normal due to this being the longest day of the year with the sun being up.
Thank you.
As the mound visit is dispersed. So Bobby Stang will step in, and thus far here tonight, doubled with an RBI back in the first. As for Stang, his 16th RBI of the summer, team leading. Runner goes in there for a strike. Thrown and good stop from Briggs Loveland. So it's another stolen base for the Doubledays this inning, and it's Tommy Roldan stealing second base. So no balls, 1 strike the count. As Bobby Stang will step back in. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the 6th, 6-3 your score. Pilots lead. The pitch from Lowe. Taken at the knees. Counts at 0-2 now. So no balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. In the top of the 6th, Chris Lowe looking to get himself out of the inning as he comes set. The 0-2 delivery misses away. Good stop from Camera, who glided to stop that ball. Counts at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 6-3 score. Chris Lowe looking for his first victory in his 2nd season with the Pilots thus far. His first victory of the 23 season. Went 6-0 during the summer of 22 campaign. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Chris Lowe stepped off there. He'll step back on the rubber and come set. The 1-2 2 pitch. That one swung on and roped into left field. Michael Mugen turning, and that one is going to get all the way to the wall. Another RBI for Bobby Stang, his second RBI double of the night. And the score now 6-4. Bobby Stang has been tearing it up for the Doubledays from Georgia Southern University all summer. So 6-4 your score. As head coach Daniel Steve is going to come out, and it looks like Chris Lowe's night will be over. Pitching change, and it appears to be Cam Kingsley. We will verify after the break. We're going to take a quick break on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We'll be right back. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, NewarkPilots.tv. Pitching change, it's Cameron Kingsley coming on in relief of Chris Lowe. First pitch missed for a ball. So final stat line for Chris Lowe, 5.1 innings of work, 8 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. So not too shabby of a start for him. Kingsley comes on in relief for the Pilots. Second pitch misses, and that one gets to the backstop. Counts at 2-0 now as Cam Kingsley comes on. Bobby Stang advances to third base. Kingsley thus far has an 18.00 ERA and 2 innings of work for the Pilots. 2 games that he has appeared in. 4 runs, given up, 4 of them earned. So 2 balls, no strikes. Kingsley, as Wendrich lines that one into center field, making the play is Paulie Goodness. Bobby Stang is going to score from third base, so it's a sacrifice fly, and 6-5 your score now. So that'll bring up Christian Bauman, the center fielder, number 28. Doubledays have scored 3 runs this inning. 6-5 your score. Pilots still lead, however. As Cameron Kingsley coming on in relief for the Pilots here in the top of the 6th. So there are 2 gone now. Bases cleared. Sacrifice fly there for A.J. Wenrich. And Bobby Stang scored from third. That one in there for a strike. Counts at 0-1 now. So no balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Christian Bauman steps back in. The 0-1 just misses low. Counts at 1-1 now to Christian Bauman as he steps back in. 0-2 in the night thus far to pair strikeouts swinging. The 1-1 pitch popped up in the infield. He throws the bat. Kingsley underneath it makes the play a P1, so he comes in and gets out of the jam, but the Doubledays put up 3 runs in the top of the 6th. 6-5 Pilots lead. Heading to the bottom of the 6th, the Pilots are coming up to bat. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, Justin DiMartino leading things off for the Pilots here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-5 Pilots lead, though. Doubledays have scored 3 in the top half of the 6th. The Pilots will look to add a couple runs and pad that lead up from 1 run now. It was at 3 just a second ago. 4 runs a second ago. A couple unfortunate breaks in the field. Appeared Don Camera had thrown the runner out at second, but nonetheless, they said he was safe as that one swung on a miss by Justin DiMartino. Count is at 0-2 now. No balls, 2 strikes. DiMartino 1 for 2 on the night, doubled and scored back in the 2nd inning. That one swung on and ripped back up the middle, and it's going to be a leadoff single for Justin DiMartino, his 2nd hit of the ball game. As that'll bring up Timmy Wagner. Tim Wagner, jersey change from the number 27 to 37 now. Wagner from Hingham, Massachusetts, and plays his college ball at D3 Wheaton College as he steps in. Laner comes set the pitch. That one swung on and hit out into left field. The left fielder trailing gets underneath it and makes the play for the out, as that was Christian Malillo out there in left field. As this will now bring up Tyler Walters for the Pilots. So Walters stepping up to the plate now for the Pilots. As Tyler Walters will step in after the flyout to left from Tim Wagner. Walters is 0 for 1 on the night thus far, but in his last plate appearance, walked and came around to score in the 4th. First pitch taken at the knees for a strike, counts at 0-1. And awaiting on deck is Briggs Loveland, Paulie Goodness in the hole. So Tyler Walters comes set, no balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Swung on and hit, that one hit up the middle. That one's going to get into the gap as that one gets all the way to the wall. Walters is going to head towards second. He's going to round second, the cutoff throw, and that's going to be an RBI at the plate. It's a RBI triple, and Tyler Walters doing the pilot plane dance over there at third base. Tyler Walters smoked that one into the right center gap. It's an RBI triple, and that'll bring up Briggs Loveland. So the Pilots now take a 2-run lead. Walters absolutely smoked that ball all the way to the wall there in right center field. So Briggs Loveland will come up to the plate now, and Tyler Walters making this Pilots team come alive on the RBI triple. First pitch swinging, that one popped up down the third base side. That one will kick out of play. Counts at 0-1 to Briggs Loveland. What a play there from Tyler Walters, igniting this crowd here at Colburn Park in the Pilots dugout. Electric atmosphere here tonight on this beautiful night for baseball. Sun just about set. That one swung on and popped up into left field. Well, Malillo underneath it. They're going to fake the throw in. Throw will be well in time. They faked Walters to run there and left. That one not deep enough. As that'll now bring up Paulie Goodness for this Pilots team. Goodness did have an RBI single back in the second inning. So Goodness will step in, the local kid from Palmyra, New York, and plays at the local community college, FLCC, Finger Lakes Community College, and Canandaigua, New York will step in. 2 gone. That one taken for a strike, counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Paulie Goodness will step back in. It's Colin Lehner on the mound for the Doubledays. That one swung on a hit down the line. Just foul. 0-2 now is the count. If that one was a little bit more to the right side of the base, that one for sure would have scored Walters, and the Pilots would have took a 3-run lead. But Goodness will trot back towards home plate and step in the batter's box. And waiting on deck is Michael Mugen in the top of the order. And Mugen is 3 for 3 on the night. So if Goodness were able to find his way on base here, would be quite significant for the Pilots. No balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. That one swung on and fanned out into left field, right at Malillo and left, as it's an L7 to end the inning. But Walters with the RBI triple for the Pilots gives the Pilots a 2-run lead. We're heading to the top of the 7th inning. 7-5 from Colburn. We'll be right back. As we are back here at Colburn Park for the top of the 7th inning. 7-5, Pilots lead. Christian Malillo leading things off. First pitch misses for a ball. Count is at 1-0. It's Cam Kingsley out for some more work for the Newark Pilots. Kingsley thus far in 2/3 inning of work has recorded 2 outs. That one in there for a strike. Counts even up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. No outs. There is someone warming up down there in the Newark Pilots bullpen. As that one in there for a strike as well. Counts now 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. No outs. As Cam Kingsley comes set. The St. John Fisher University Cardinal pitches. That one swung on and hit up in the air on the third base side. Tim Wagner will watch that one drop right in front of him out of play. So the count's at 1-2 still. We'll do it again. One ball, 2 strikes to Christian Malillo, who is 0 for 2 thus far on the night. The 1-2. That one just misses inside. Counts at 2-2. Now that one kicked to the backstop, but no runners on base, so we'll do the 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Christian Malillo steps in from the left side of the batter's box. The 2-2. That one just misses inside. And we're not sure where that one missed here at Colburn Park, but PGCBL umpires strike again. So the count's now full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. That one swung on and roped into right center field. Walters dives, and that one gets just past his glove. Malillo's going to head towards second, and he's going to be up for a leadoff double for the Doubledays. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 6, Benji Rees. Rees coming into the game batting .222 for the Auburn Doubledays. Camera going to give some quick signals to his pitcher, Kingsley, as that's Owen Donahue warming up down there in the Pilots bullpen. Number 32. Kingsley comes set, the pitch. That one in there for a strike, counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, and no outs. Top of the 7th inning. 7-5 Pilots lead. Kingsley comes set, and the pitch. Swung on and popped foul. Counts now 0-2. Benji Rees steps back in. Behind the count 0-2. Cameron Kingsley comes set. The 0-2 delivery. That one, off-speed pitch, just drops out of the zone. Counts at 1-2 now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Kingsley comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses high. Counts now even up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. As it looks like Michael Walsh is also up over that way for the Pilots warming. Kingsley comes set. The 2-2 swung on and missed, blew the fastball right by him for the first out of the inning. A strikeout there for Benji Rees, and that'll bring up the first baseman, number 25, Jacob Hoots, who is 0 for 2 on the night. Hoots at first base tonight for Auburn. In the 3rd inning, grounded out 6-3, and then grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the 5th inning. So he's out for his 3rd AB of the night. The pitch, curveball drops in there, counts at 0-1. Good pitch there from Kingsley. No balls, 1 strike. Kingsley the pitch. As they're going to say that Houts pulled back yet again, as that one for sure looked like he brought the bat around the front of the plate, but nonetheless, 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. At least we can say that the umpires have been consistently bad. As the 1-1 pitch, that one hit out into left field. Michael Mugen tracks it down underneath it and makes the grab, and that will hold the runner at second. An F7 for Jacob Hoots. And that'll bring up Michael Hooley, who was 0 for 1 on the night. Walked and scored in the 3rd inning and grounded out 5-3 in the 5th. So Hooley will step in. Coming in this one, batting .260 for the Doubledays. Will step in to face Cameron Kingsley, who's looking to get out of the inning unscathed. That one, curveball drops low, counts at 1-0 now. So 1 ball, no strikes. As Walsh is up as well over there in the Pilots bullpen. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Kingsley coming set in the pitch. Drops in there. Count is at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Cameron Kingsley has very similar to a pitching style of that of Craig Kimbrell, how he hangs the right arm low and then comes up and has like kind of like a bendy stance. The 1-1 curveball popped up. Camera will watch that one go over the top of the net here at Colburn Park. Count is at 1-2 for Cam Kingsley. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Kingsley coming set. The pitch fouled off. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Michael Hooley steps back in for the Doubledays. Was 1 for 5 yesterday with a run scored. The 1-2 pitch, that one popped up right side of the infield. Briggs Loveland underneath it, called off by the right fielder. Walters makes the grab. Cam Kingsley gets out of trouble. Heading to the bottom half of the 7th, the Pilots lead the Doubledays 7-5. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, will be Michael Mugen leading things off here for the Pilots in the bottom of the 7th. Pilots lead the Doubledays 7-5 here at Colburn Park. Michael Mugen steps in 3 for 3 on the night. As the Division I player from Southeast Missouri State will step back in. That one missed for a ball. Counts at 1-0 to Michael Mugen. The 1-0 pitch misses low. Counts at 2-0 now. And a pitching change as it's Devin McWaters coming on to pitch for Auburn here. Looking to keep them in this ball game. Pilots looking to add some run support here. The 2-0 pitch from McWaters. Fastball blown right by Mugen as Mugen was looking to send that ball into the Erie Canal and dead center. As McWaters coming to this one with a 9.00 ERA for Auburn. That one misses. Counts at 3-1 now. 3 balls, 1 strike, and no outs. McWaters thus far in 2 innings of work has given up 2 runs. Both of them earned. The 3-1 pitch. Taken at the knees. Counts now full at 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. The delivery from McWaters. That one swung on and bounced towards Gross at second, who fields and throws not in time. 4-3 ground out for Michael Mugen.
Next, from Manhasset, New York, it's the catcher, number 6, Dom Camera.
As that'll now bring up Dom Camera for these Pilots. Camera had that 2 RBI single back in the second for the Pilots. As Dom Camera will step up. Camera so far here tonight is 1 for 3 and 7 for 12 on the summer against these Doubledays. That one swung on and missed. Count is at 1-0 with 1 out here. The 0-1 misses. Counts now evened up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. In the bottom of the 7th, Pilots lead the Doubledays 7-5. 7 runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Pilots. As McWaters, the windup in the pitch. That one misses. Counts at 2-1 now. So 2 balls, 1 strike. And for Auburn, 5 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. Waiting on deck is Jack Archimone, another dangerous bat for the Pilots. The 2-1 windup and the pitch. Dom Camera pops that one up left side of the infield. Foul territory as the third baseman is underneath it. As Michael Hooley makes the play. So a foul pop-up for Dom Camera. With that is now 2 outs for the Pilots. And that'll bring up Jack Archimone for these Pilots from the University of Richmond. So Archimone stepping up to the plate now for the Pilots, wearing number 7. As he'll step in. First 2 batters for the Pilots retired thus far in this inning. The first pitch from McWaters, curveball, just misses off the outer half of the plate. Count is at 1-0 to Archimone. Big swing from Archimone, no contact. Count is at 1-1. Archimone is 0 for 2 on the night thus far. Did walk and was left on base back in the first. Flew out the left end, grounded out 3 unassisted. That one taken for a strike. Counts at 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The windup from McWaters. That one misses low and away. Counts at 2-2. So 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Jack Archimone. Facing Devin McWaters, who has come on in relief for Colin Lehner. The 2-2 pitch. That one misses. Counts now full. 3-2. And awaiting on deck is Mitchell Kelly, who does have an RBI to his credit thus far tonight. 1 for 3. For the Pilots, their top 4 batters, 3 of the top 4 batters have RBI as Archimone works a walk, his second of the game. And that'll now bring up Mitchell Kelly.
Number 34, Mitchell Kelly.
So Mitchell Kelly coming up to the plate now for the Pilots from Webster, New York. And SUNY Cortland, 1 for 3 on the night with an RBI. Had that RBI single in his last at-bat. Does have a pair of strikeouts on the night as well, but the good definitely outweighing the bad as the Pilots lead by 2 here. Very close game. Mitchell Kelly steps in. Devin McWaters coming set for the Doubledays. That one misses away and is going to get to the backstop as Jack Archimone advances on the wild pitch. So he's to second. Kelly came into the night batting .304 for the Pilots. And Archimone with the speed there at second, where if Kelly finds the outfield, Archimone would likely score. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 taken at the knees. Counts at 1-1 to Mitchell Kelly. McWaters plays his college ball at Charleston Southern. That one swung on and missed. Big cut there from Kelly. Count is now 1-2. So McWaters getting ahead in the count. As Mitchell Kelly will step back in. Waiting on deck is the Pilots. For the Pilots is number 20, Michael Flaherty. That one misses. Counts at 2-2. And for Flaherty, he's over 3 on the night, but he, coming into this game, is the Pilots' leader in batting average at .360. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McWaters comes set. The pitch misses low. Count now full. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the count full. McWaters will come set. The pitch. That one swung on and hit right at Campy. Harrison Campy fields it and throws over to first for the out. A 6-3 ground out for Mitchell Kelly. Heading to the top half of the 8th. The Newark Pilots still have a 2-run lead. As we will be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, NewarkPilots.tv. Another pitching change for the Pilots. And on in relief from Brambleton, Virginia, it'll be Owen Donahue for the Newark Pilots. And the Doubledays down to their final 6 outs from Salisbury University. Donahue comes on in relief. The submarine style as Harrison Campy's going to ground that one on a bunt right back to him. As a bunt there, stuffed out. Score that one 1-3 with the ground out. And that'll now bring up Carson Gross for the Doubledays with 1 away here. And I'm going to have a familiar face joining us momentarily. I'll save the suspense. As Carson Gross, that pitch misses away, counts at 1-0 now.
Good job today, Chris.
1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out to Carson Gross. Owen Donahue coming on in relief. Campy bunted that one right back to him. That one misses as well. Counts now at 2-0. And the Doubledays are down to their final 2 outs of the game. That one swung on and hit into center field. Paulie Goodness trailing it and makes the play out there in center for the 2nd out of the inning. And just like that, I'm joined by Chris Lowe. He'll be joining me very momentarily, as that's the 2nd out of the inning. And that will now bring up Tommy Roldan. And Tommy Roldan will step in from the University of Virginia for the Pilots. 1 for 3 on the night with a single and an RBI and came around to score. And now I am joined by Chris Lowe. Chris, how's it going?
Sorry about that, Frenchie. Good to be here.
As Roldan grounds that one back up the middle for a single. A 2-out single for Tommy Roldan, his 2nd hit of the ball game. And that will now bring up Bobby Stang, who is probably the most dangerous bat in this Doubleday lineup. 17 RBI already on the summer for Stang, and he has a significant lead at that for team lead for Auburn. With the 17 RBIs, it's about 5 or 6 that he leads the team with. So, Chris, we saw you out there absolutely dealing 5 strikeouts, a season high for you in a game.
Thank you, Frenchie. Felt good out there.
Yeah, looked to see like the CeeLo of old. I know we've had some struggles thus far to start the season, but looked really good tonight.
Thank you, Frenchie. A couple more earned runs than we wanted, but you know what? We're in line for the win thus far, so we're going to keep pushing. Try and get ourselves a W tonight. Pilots are playing great, and I got to tip my hat. The bats have been scraping runs across all night, so.
As Donahue pitches that one down the line. Good stop there by Timmy Wagner at third. Throws
Timmy
on to
Wags.
first. A 5-3 ground out, and the Doubledays will be down to their final 3 outs. But the Pilots have a chance to add some insurance here and look for their first win at Colburn Park. I'm Kyle French. I'll be joined by Chris Lowe in the bottom half of the 8th. And for the rest of the game, we'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, NewarkPilots.tv. Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-5 your score, and they call him Big Michael Flaherty from London, England. Big England guy.
All the way across the pond. And that one hit him.
As that one hit Michael Flaherty, first pitch of the inning.
A lot of muscle there. I'm sure he'll be fine.
As that will now bring up Justin DiMartino, who is 2 for 3 on the night thus far with a single and a double.
That's big right there. You know, Pilots looking to set the table here. Get a couple more across for some insurance here. Michael Walsh looking to get hot out there in that Pilots bullpen. Shut this puppy down here as Justin DiMartino stepping into the box. Let's see if he can keep the bat hot tonight.
So Michael Flaherty hit by a pitch. DiMartino squaring into bunt. That one will go foul. And again, I'm joined by Chris Lowe, our starting pitcher for the Pilots tonight. For Lowe tonight, 5.1 innings of work, 8 hits, 5 runs, and 5 strikeouts. Counts at 0-1 to Justin DiMartino, who fouled that bunt attempt off. We'll see if he squares the bunt again.
Beautiful night here at the Burn, as
He
usual.
will. That one is pulled back. Counts now 1-1. Certainly couldn't have asked for a more beautiful night here. It's actually the longest day of the year.
Happy solstice.
With the solstice. As 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. The 1-1 pitch. DiMartino squares the bunt. That one pops straight up a mile in the air. Unfortunate break for the Pilots for the first out.
Up next from Hingham, Massachusetts, the third base.
As that'll now bring up Timmy Wagner.
27, Tim Wagner.
Wagner has been really good defensively for the Pilots here at third base. He's kind of found his role there at third.
He's been great. And, you know, a cross-conference rival over at Wheaton College. Never fun playing the boys in blue. Great team they've put together over there for quite some time now. And Timmy, a solid part of it.
So bitter rivals turned the bestest of friends here in the PGCBL. Summer ball will do it to you, though.
It will. Absolutely bitter rivals, me and Timmy. But no, he lives down the hall. Great kid, great ball player. Excited to have him on this Pilot squad.
And plays one heck of a third base. I will say one of the biggest surprises for the Pilots in this game tonight has been the man on deck, Tyler Walters. Like the little signature Pilot plane dance there after the triple, the RBI triple at third.
He's been awesome tonight. And
As Wagner hits that one towards third. No play at second. His only play will be on to first, but it will advance the runner 90 feet.
And a little more on Tyler Walters here. Not only did he hit that triple, but he got home on a walk earlier in the game, which was a huge run for us. So he's just been producing tonight.
So Tyler Walters will step in with his new walk-up song.
As he squares. Looking to get something going here in the bottom of the 8th. As
That
this
one almost hits Walters.
Are they going to call that a swing?
As they called it a ball.
Something happened here.
As it looked as if the ball had hit Walters. The umpire says no, so the count's 1-0.
PGCBL umps doing their thing as usual.
They strike again. That's my signature tagline. PGCBL umps strike again.
Yeah, they do strike again.
It's honestly the close call disparity, or questionable calls, controversial calls, if you will, disparity. It's about 7-0 in favor of the Doubledays thus far tonight. Pilots still on top by 2 runs, though.
Listen, they can't stop us right now.
As the Pilots are hot. There's an old saying, you can't let the lots get hot.
Don't let us get hot, because when we get hot, we have trouble cooling down. As Walters calls time, he's back in the box here.
Waiting on deck is your college teammate, Briggs Loveland.
We love some Brigham.
The pitch misses low. Counts at 3-0.
Walters exercising a good eye here. Looking to get on base for, correct me if I'm wrong, Frenchie, but what will be the 3rd time tonight?
Will be the 3rd time here tonight. 3rd official at bat, but this is his 4th plate appearance for Walters, and the count's at 3-0 to him. Coming set. That one misses low, so regardless, Walters finds himself on first base.
With the Pilots, they got 2 men on. You know, I think we got to pass the mic over to Frankie, see if he's a little good luck charm, right?
Definitely will. And joining us now in the press box here at Colburn Park, it is Frankie Vanzalata from Dutchess County, New York, by way of SUNY Brockport, not too far away. How's it going, Frankie?
Good to be here. Great game by the Pilots, putting together hopefully what will be a 2nd win, first of the season at home. Hopefully, you know what they say, lots can get hot.
As Briggs Loveland fouls that one off. Frankie Vanzalata, typically our hole hitter, our leadoff hitter in the lineup, has the day off today. I mean, certainly got to get a day off at some point to rest those muscles and those legs. Quite the speed you have there, which has earned you the leadoff spot and the ability to get on base, of course, as that one is called a strike to Briggs Loveland.
Yeah, hopefully a good rest day. Big game tomorrow, Niagara on the road. Looking to get one there, too.
As Loveland steps back in. No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch. That one swung in and popped up into center field. In between 3 Doubledays as the center fielder, Christian Bauman, makes the play. Heading to the top of the 9th, the Auburn Doubledays are down to their final out. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, NewarkPilots.tv. As it's Michael Walsh coming on to close this puppy out. Pilots looking for their first win at home, their second win of the summer, and this would be their second win in series. This will give them the series lead 2-1 against the Auburn Doubledays on the summer. Certainly has been a great display of baseball here for the Pilots here tonight, stringing everything together, 7 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Have been good in all 3 departments, hitting, fielding, and batting. The first pitch from Walsh misses low, counts at 1-0 to A.J. Wenrich. Walsh coming on in relief of Owen Donahue. That one swung on and missed. Good fastball there from Walsh. And the count's at 1-1 now. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs to A.J. Wenrich. Wenrich stepping in 1 for 2 on the night. The 1-1 pitch taken for a strike on the outer half of the plate. Counts at 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and no outs. Michael Walsh comes set, the lefty from the University of Maryland. The 1-2 pitch. That one misses low. Counts evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Awaiting on deck is Christian Baumann. No one up in the Pilots' pen. Everyone in the dugout. Everyone ready to storm the field. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Michael Walsh strikes him out as A.J. Wenrich throws his helmet and throws a tantrum heading back to the dugout. Strike 3, as that will bring up Christian Baumann. The center fielder 0 for 3 on the night with a pair of strikeouts. First pitch, misses inside, counts at 1-0. A.J. Wenrich in a fury over there on the sideline, as we've seen him do that several times here this summer. That one inside for a strike. That one just tailed back across the plate at the last second. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out to Christian Baumann. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, had him fishing in the dirt. Counts at 1-2. Michael Walsh has it humming tonight for the Pilots. And the boys are buzzing there in the dugout. The lots are hot. The 1-2 pitch swung in and fouled off, out of play. So we'll do the 1-2 again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here. Top of the 9th inning. Doubledays down to their final 2 outs. Pilots looking for their first victory at home. Their second victory of the summer and their second victory against the Auburn Doubledays. Walsh comes set. The 6'4 lefty, the 1-2 pitch. That one hit to Briggs Loveland at second, who flips over to Mitchell Kelly at first for the second out of the inning. And the Doubledays are down to their final out. That'll bring up the left fielder, number 12, Christian Melillo. As Melillo will come up to the plate. 1 for 3 on the night is Melillo. Doubled in his last plate appearance in the 7th. Melillo will step up. Michael Walsh looking to close this thing out. Walsh comes set. First pitch of the at-bat. Misses outside, did the fastball. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball and no strikes. Walsh coming set. The 1-0 pitch in the delivery. That one swung out on the line. Tim Wagner, and that one off his glove. A 2-out single for Christian Melillo. And the tying run at the plate now for the Doubledays. As that'll now bring up Benji Reese for the Doubledays. Now coming up to the plate after the 2-out single from Melillo. So the tying run at the plate. Reese is 1 for 3 on the night. Grounded out 5-3 in the second, singled in the 5th, and struck out swinging in his last plate appearance. The first pitch, taken for a strike at the knees. Count is at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Doubledays down to their final out. The 0-1 pitch. Misses low. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs now. 7-5 Pilots lead. They have the opportunity to win their first game at home. Can they do it? And it's the very reliable arm in Michael Walsh coming on to close this one out. Walsh comes set. Melillo on first. The 1-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. Doubledays down to their final strike of the night now. Walsh, the Pilots' leader in ERA, has a 0 ERA. 1 save already on the summer. 7.1 innings of work. Has appeared in 4 games. Walsh coming set. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and popped up. Out of play. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Again, Doubledays down to their final strike. Walsh came out to the song Closing Time. Coming in to close this game out. An epic song for the Pilots ace. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch bounces in the dirt. That one's going to get to the backstop. Melillo will advance to second as Camera corrals that one down. So the count's now evened up at 2. 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-run lead for the Pilots. Can Michael Walsh close the door shut on a Doubledays comeback? Walsh back to the mound. Benji Reese steps back in. 1 for 3 on the night thus far he is. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Michael Walsh coming set. The 2-2 pitch. In there on the outer edge of the plate. Michael Walsh strikes him out, and the Pilots beat the Auburn Doubledays and improved to 2-11, their second win of the year. Michael Walsh coming in and closing the door shut on a Doubledays comeback. The Pilots win, the Pilots win, and the Pilots win. 7-5 your final score. Michael Walsh closing the door, and the Pilots win 7-5. The Pilots win the ball game. Michael Walsh, what a play for the Newark Pilots. So 7-5 your final score. Again, the Pilots win this game. What a throw from Michael Walsh to finish this one out. And a quick look at the schedule, as the Pilots will be on the road tomorrow to face the Niagara Power, and then they will be back here to face the Batavia Muck Dogs on Friday. Michael Walsh closes this thing out. What a play for him. We will see you guys on Friday. As always, I'm Kyle French here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, NewarkPilots.tv. We will see you guys next time.